Welcome to this lecture. Here we're going to explore a couple of these properties that we can associate with our S3 buckets in more depth. In order to do that, we'll go down to the home page, and here we're going to come down to properties. In the properties tab, we're going to be looking firstly at the static website hosting. Let's click on this. What this allows us to do is it provides us an endpoint through which we can submit a HTML page and allow users to have access to that page and therefore access to our content. So if we enable web hosting, it's going to ask us for an index document. An index document is going to be an HTML document which has the links as well as the interactive code that we might place there, such as buttons and those sorts of things there. So here I'm going to be pasting the welcome.html page and I'm going to be hitting save. If I click on this, it's going to bring me to this page, and if I click on one of these links, it's going to download the content associated with that link. If I click on getting raw data, it is going to display it. Since it's a simple text document, we have all the data sources here, and if we click on cleaning and filtering data, it is going to be a practice sheet, so it's going to be opening up that as a download. Let's come back. So this is a great way of pulling up a simple website which is going to allow access to the content that you have stored in your bucket. We're going to hit save, and we're just going to close the static web hosting. Let's come over to logging, and logging is actually a very powerful tool which allows us to track the changes that are occurring in our bucket. We're going to be enabling logging, and this is going to be enabled on a different bucket that we create. So let's come out of this, and we're going to go to all buckets, create new bucket, call this the logging bucket for LMS 1001. We're going to hit create, and we have created this bucket. Let's just copy the name here, come back to our sales bucket, go over to properties, and come down to the logging, enable logging, and paste in the bucket name. This is our bucket right here. So what this will do is it's going to be creating this folder, and it's going to be submitting all the text documents in the folder, and after 24 hours it's going to start the logging process of whatever changes that occur inside this specific bucket. Let's hit save, and we have enabled logging on our company sales LMS bucket. Last thing we're going to be looking at in this lecture are events. Events allow us to send alerts and execute certain functions when a certain event occurs. For example, if a file has been uploaded, we may want an alert to be sent to us, or if a specific HTML document has been uploaded or deleted, we want a system-wide check to make sure everything is working fine, and we could have what is called a Lambda function execute that check. So those sorts of things can be managed through the creation of events. The way we create these events is we specify a specific event name. So here we'll do something like creation of object. We can specify the event that has occurred. So here we're going to have either an object has been created or an object has been removed. If you go to specific ones of these, you can do that as well. So here we're going to be looking at the object created. This is going to be a prefix. So what prefix do we want when we send it? Here's a suffix, what kind of a object has been created. And here we're going to be specifying to which application do we want to send this alert. So if we send it to the SNS, this will be sending us a notification of the alert. If we send it to the queue system, this is going to queue our request for a specific change inside the SQS queue. And if we send it to the Lambda function, this is going to be executing a specific function. And actually the Lambda functions are really versatile, and they can be used very dynamically in the sense that the moment you specify a specific amount of code, that code will automatically provision the resources, provision the billing. It is going to get started and execute that action without you having to do anything. You just give the code over and the Lambda function will execute. In this case, we're just going to click on the SNS notification, and I'll be showing you how you can create a couple of these kinds of alerts in a later lecture. Let's put something like images here, and we'll just put in JPG. So here we're going to leave this as SNS, and actually we're going to be coming out of this since we have not seen how we can create SNS topics. But once you see how to create those topics, you can easily create these events and associate them with your buckets, and every time a change occurs, it is going to be either sending you a notification, queuing your requests, or executing some sort of a function. Thank you for joining me here, and let's move along to the next lecture.